Hello there. So recently I began one of my most ambitious projects ever. Um, I'm I'm very well known for building with Legos, but for many years I'd wanted a puzzle box. But puzzle boxes are so expensive and so hard to get that finally I was fed up and I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna build myself one. So right here is my first puzzle box made completely out of Legos. It weighs approximately 6 pounds and it has a central chamber right here, and it has 3 locks in it. 3. One lock puzzle is situated here. There's a hole right here. It's kind of hard to see because of shadows. There's another hole right here, a little bit smaller, and the last lock is right here. There's a little bar that can slide out a little bit, but it needs to be slid out a little bit more to unlock it. So in order to solve this, you need a series of pieces. The first and most obvious pieces you can find are in here. So this is a little knob, and it doesn't look like much, but if you actually grab it, here, if you grab it and pull it out, it slides out and reveals a secret door. And in there you can find a couple of pieces that will be used later on in the puzzle. So a gear, and then another piece, an angled piece. So I'll set those aside. Now the second one that is a little bit more difficult to see is on this side. Now it doesn't really stand out because it looks like just a flat surface. However, if you feel around right here, this blue piece, you can push it in and out pops this drawer. And inside it is a magnet. Again, this will be used for a later part, so I'll set it to the side. Now, the final piece is actually not on any of the sides. It is actually on top. Right here, there's a little axle, but you can't really reach it. It's not able to be pulled out. And also the rule to this puzzle box is you're not allowed to pick it up. You can only turn it. So for many people it might be confusing as to how you would get such a thing out. But what you have to do is you, kind of like the hidden drawer, you kind of have to feel around, and right here there's this orange piece. This orange piece actually pushes in and pops up the axle. Now we have the axle and all the other pieces, so we can actually move on to the final unlocking of the puzzle. So we will start with this side. Now for this side, you need this axle, this gear, and the curved piece. So the axle and the gear go together and slide into this hole. And it's hard to see now, but it lines up with a couple of gears. And from there, if you look on top, there's a hole right there. And if you can see, as I'm turning this, you can see movement in there. So if you continue to turn this gear, eventually, it's kind of hard to see on this, but there's a pair of green pieces in there that show up now. Those green pieces, they mean that it's unlocked. So that's done on the first part. Now we can move on to the second. Okay, so I can pull this back out. We're done with this. Now for the second part, down here at the bottom, this can fit in there, and if you wiggle it around for a little bit, eventually you'll find that it slides in and sticks. Now this is where this piece comes in. Next you attach this piece, and if you give it a quick 180 turn counterclockwise, it unlocks the next lock. Now we're done with this side. There's one more lock and one more piece. On the opposite side you have this part. Right here. Now the last piece is a magnet. So what many people try to do is they look at the bar and try to move it along the bar, but that's actually not what you need. The trick is in the color. All of this area is yellow except for this line. So if you put the magnet on it, eventually, I don't know if you could hear that, but it hooked, and you can see it's stuck to something. So you can lift that up and bring it through, and once you bring it all the way to the other end, it pulls out a little bit more than it did before. Not much, but it pulls out a little bit more, and just enough so that this centerpiece slides out. And then you can get whatever's inside.